Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Thunder Today YouTube channel. I am your host, Dylan Hibbard, and in today's video, we're going to go over a few things, including just how historic in clutch Shea's Game 4 performance was in the NBA Finals. We're going to go over Ousmane Dieng and how he's been performing in the EuroLeague and how that might help raise his trade value for the Thunder here in the future. It will also go over a former Thunder leaving to a team up north, and then we'll talk about the no video tomorrow, but we'll get to that later. But first off, just kind of talking about I don't think people realize, I've seen a lot over TikTok, and people don't realize how historic and clutch Shea's Game 4 of this NBA Finals was and how crucial it was for the Thunder to win this, because Thunder were going into Game 4 in Indiana down 2-1, where if you lose, you're going down 3-1 back home, where you would have to win 3 in a row, 2 at home, 1 back in Indiana. Pretty much nobody's doing that. And for it to be how clutch it was, because he had 35 points in this game, but he had 15 in the final 5 minutes of the game down the stretch, because of how he was just able to, in the first 3 quarters, he wasn't able to find a shot. He was struggling, and it just looked like the Thunder were in big time trouble because we couldn't get Shea to get going. And to go out there in the fourth quarter and in such a big moment and clutch on the road in such a tough environment, go out there and score 15 straight to lead your team to a Game 4 win. And not only do that, but now we know later on the next game, Jada would carry Shea in that 40-point performance, eventually getting to the Game 7 and the win. So for Shea, it was just a career-defining moment. It was one of those games where the Thunder were down. Some players have admitted, like Lou Dort, how they were very shaky and nervous about that game down the stretch, but Shea was able to calm down, get the team on his back, and just kind of control the game at his pace, and it paid off to where the Thunder were able to close that game out on the road and then eventually win the series in 7. So, I mean, I just think some people don't realize how clutch that was down the stretch, especially if you weren't able to watch it in time. It probably didn't show it as much on the box score, just shot after shot in such big moments and eventually carrying it to the championship. So it's just more talk about how clutch Shea was in that moment, and just overall the big moments that were in the NBA Finals that led to that championship, because it wasn't all sunshine and butterflies for the Thunder. We were down at a big spot in the fourth quarter in Game 4 before Shea got going, and if it wasn't for that, we would have sure lost that series. But we're going to transition now into Ousmane Dieng and how his trade value has kind of gone up, because he's been involved in the French EuroLeague over there, and he's been doing really well, been averaging double digits over there, just kind of really popping off, and it's going to raise that trade value for us, because like many of us don't believe that he's going to be a big part of the future, and I feel like a lot of us think he will be traded. And I think by the trade deadline, he is one of the most likely candidates to get traded for the Thunder at the trade deadline, just because of salary cap and maybe moving certain pieces around depending on what the team is looking like health-wise and who's performing and who's not. And I think he's at the top of that list, and for him to continue to perform well in the EuroLeague, that can show big for certain teams that might want to go out there and get a young forward, like we talked about with Portland Trailblazers, teams out east who are contending and want a guy who can have a high ceiling for a low, only for like $6-7 million. So for Ousmane Dieng, it's just going to be continue to stay the course, hopefully get some decent minutes in the Thunder, and if not, maybe get traded and go to a place where you can kind of show off your talent a bit more, because the Thunder are so deep. It's going to be hard, I feel like, for Ousmane Dieng to get big minutes down the stretch. But let me know what you guys think down below, if you guys think that he does still have a future on this team, or if he's kind of, you're on the same boat as me, as he's kind of on the out and out come trade deadline this upcoming season. But we'll kind of talk about another former Thunder in Oliver Sarr. He had that big injury, a guy who is the brother of Alex Sarr over at the Wizards. just a young guy that the Thunder had, and he had an injury towards the end of last year, but did get picked up by the Toronto Raptors in free agency. So now he is a part of that team. Just a guy who unfortunately got injured towards the end of this last year, towards the end of the Thunder's G League run in the finals again, and he was just it was an unfortunate injury. And now with the Thunder's debt, they just let him go, and the Raptors ended up picking up. So hope nothing but the best for Oliver Sarr, and we just hope that he can hopefully stay healthy. Obviously, hope that the injuries aren't too big, and kind of hope that he just stays healthy, and wish nothing but the best for him in his future endeavors. And then we'll just kind of wrap things up. It'll be a quick video today. Just there will not be a video tomorrow on Wednesday. I will be out of town where I won't be able to film some videos. I'm looking at certain apartments. I'm going to be trying to move to a new place. So eventually, hopefully here in a week or two, you guys will see a whole new setup, and hopefully we can have a cooler looking setup than what we have right here, and I can get you guys looking that. But we will not have a video tomorrow on Wednesday, August 5th, but we will return back on Thursday and wrap it up on Friday. And then just kind of the future outlook. We're kind of in those dog days of kind of the dry area for NBA, but we'll wrap August up kind of in the off-season stuff. At the time of this recording, the San Antonio Spurs signed De'Aaron Fox to a super extension, so that's going to be interesting. Kind of shocking that they're doing that, seeing that they're going to have to pay Victor as well. So we'll see how they fluctuate that with that deal. But just kind of on that, other than that, not a lot going on. Then we'll get into September, where then we'll get to our future outlooks, kind of power rankings, predictions, all of that, and then we'll get into next season, where hopefully we can see the Thunder go back to back, and it'll be an interesting year. I'm thinking we can get to that 70 win mark. It just depends on how healthy certain guys can be, but I think we can pull it off, and I think we can be the first team in a long time to go back to back. But let me know what you guys think, Demo. Let me know what you guys think about Shea's Game 4 performance. Do you think that was the best game of the finals? Do you think it was another game? How big do you think that Game 4 was for Shea and the Thunder in general? Let me know what you guys think about the Ousmane Dieng stuff, and I will see you guys on Thursday, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.